Hey, everybody.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on there. Hey, wait.
What, Hank?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What was the problem?
There was an airplane going over.
Well, I don't think anybody could hear the airplane, and I don't know if anybody would care.
Yeah, but that's what you do in Hollywoods when you...
Hollywood.
That's what I said, Hollywoods.
Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywoods. In Hollywoods, they say the sound guys go, holding for the airplane, hold the plane here.
Well, yeah, normally on a film, when you're filming, Hank.
Yeah.
And they want good sound. If an airplane or a train or traffic or whatever is happening, they may say holding for the plane. And I've been a sound guy many times recording dialogue on films and stuff. And I've had to say holding for the plane. Excuse me, a little hoarse.
Yeah, you little horse. You're holding a horse on the plane.
No, now you're confusing the entire thing.
Yeah, what's going on with your voice?
It's fine. It's a little allergies. And I just noticed just now, yeah, it just sounds a little hoarse, doesn't it?
I'm a horse.
Okay, well, you've completely derailed the beginning of episode 30 of the James Arnold Taylor podcast, Hank.
Yeah, that's how I derail it, like the train. Holding for the train!
Okay, all right. Yeah, so it's, see, now I'm completely thrown. Welcome, everybody, to the James Arnold Taylor podcast. Hank, the engineer, was trying to be kind and say, there was an airplane going over there. So we don't live in a flight pattern necessarily, but there are planes every once in a while that fly over our house. And you could hear it a little when I first started. You get, but I don't think any of you would have heard it. You could go back to the beginning and listen. You probably won't hear anything. All you'd hear is me and then Hank going,
What was that? That was supposed to be me?
Yeah, that's you. Let's not do this again, this dance.
Well, we're dancing?
Yeah, we're dancing. We're dancing, Hank. We're dancing.
I like to do the cha-cha. I like tango and cha-cha.
Yeah, okay. You tango and cha-cha with your wife?
Yeah, we're pretty good. We won competitions.
I doubt that very serious, but okay.
No, we did. I bring in the trophies. I do the cha-cha and the tango.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Stop it.
Don't stop it?
No, look, I said don't, and then I said stop it. My wife does that. She gives me a bad time too. I'll go, don't stop it.
Don't stop it. Hey,
okay. All right. Anyways, Hank, are you drinking water?
No, I had some of your water.
Don't drink my water. That is good water. That's why I have this one. It's a backup. See, you thought I was, but that one there is not my water.
You tricked me. You did the old switcheroo.
I did the old switcheroo, Hank. Welcome to the James Arnold Taylor podcast. It's episode 30. 30 episodes we've done of this. Boy, I remember them all like they were yesterday. Not really. Oh, so many characters we've had on the James Arnold Taylor podcast. Who do we have on the show? We have, Mr. Announcer Guy.
Oh, yes, James.
You want to do the big 30th episode intro for the show?
Yeah, sure, man. Here we go. Let's get some different music then.
All right, yeah, kind of a big deal kind of music, like an award show or something. Hey, Jerry, the music man.
Yes, James.
Give us some cheesy award show kind of big over-the-top music.
You got it, James.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's the James Arnold Taylor Podcast. Talking to myself, the JATcast, episode 30. Now, here he is, the guy that's done all the voices in every episode, except for the voices that weren't him because he was interviewing people and playing clips from things. James Arnold Taylor!
Thank you, Mr. Announcer Guy.
You got it, James. I'm going to go now.
All right, thanks. It is episode 30. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Don't you think? I think that's pretty cool. Hey, so the shows for the next, the next four or five shows are going to be sponsored. We have a sponsor for the show. That's pretty exciting, isn't it? That's exciting. Now, many of you, if you've been listening to the James Arnold Taylor podcast from the beginning, you would know I interviewed my friend Alan Arnold, who is an author, an all-around great guy. He's a speaker. He's a keynote speaker. He is a writer. He is a producer. He is an editor. And he's a wonderful human being. And if you've listened to the shows, you know he wrote a book called The Story of With. And the book We did an audiobook, in fact, and Catherine Tabor voiced the character in it, Mia, and I voiced the other parts of the book that were more of the kind of, I don't want to say instructional parts, but, like kind of getting into the whole of, what's your story and such. So the story of With is, first off, it's sponsored. The James Arnold Taylor podcast is now sponsored by Alan Arnold's book, The Story of With. Okay, it's a book that can really change the way that you approach your dreams and your creativity, I think. And Alan is a dear friend of mine, and he's had such an impact on me and my own life. And so like I say, Kat and I recorded the book, but Alan Alan has worked with hundreds of different novelists and artists and creative thinkers, and he's as he would say, he's distilled his ideas into this book. Okay, so if you think of The Story of With, the book by Alan Arnold, as a roadmap to bigger dreams, truer success, and greater creativity, that's pretty. So like, I think most people that listen to the James Arnold Taylor podcast are looking to pursue their dreams, create bigger dreams, find out who they really are, what they're about, and such. And that's why it's a perfect fit to have Alan's book, The Story of With, sponsor the show here for the next few weeks. And because it also, through The Story of With, the book, if you get the book, you go to Amazon.com, or you can go to Audible.com. You can get the audio version, and then you'll hear me and Catherine Tabor reading the book. That's pretty exciting. That's worth the price of admission right there, isn't it? And but check out the book on Amazon.com as well. You can get it on Kindle and all the reader, type ones and such. Or you can get the actual hard copy book, which I have a hard copy. I'm old school. I like hard copies of books. And get this book, okay? That's the wonderful thing. So that's really why we're having it sponsor the show. Is I want you all to buy the book. I'm not ashamed to say it. I want you to go and slap down that. Hang on. I'm going to Amazon right now. I'm going to tell you how much it is. Amazon.com. Okay. I'm going to type The Story of With, Alan Arnold book. Okay. The Story of With, A Better Way to Live, Love, and Create. Paperback, look at this. For Kindle, it's $8. $8. That's what? 1.5 cups of coffee if you go to Starbucks in those places. The audiobook, which again, get the audiobook. It's fantastic. And not just because I'm in there and Kat's in there, but because it's fun. It's a fun way to do it. That is $14. Or if you have an Audible account, you can do it on 1 credit. Look at that. Or if you get the actual paperback book, which again, I'm a fan of good old school paperback books, it's $17. It's $16.99. Okay? $16.99. Still not bad. That's the average price of a book right there. But with this book, you get more. You really do. You get your money's worth. I'm not, see, here's the thing is the book is sponsoring the show, but I would say this anyways. In fact, I did. We had Alan on for like 3 or 4 episodes of the podcast before, and I interviewed him and we talked about the book. I would say this anyways, because this book is going to help you. Okay. Listen to Ted Decker is a best-selling author. He says, unique and powerful, The Story of With will take readers deep into the discovery of their own identity. I think everybody wants that. Bravo! This fascinating blend of storytelling and teaching will shift the thinking of all who take this journey. That's from New York Times bestselling author Ted Decker. He knows a thing or two about stories. So the book is an allegory, meaning it's a story. Well, let's again, I've done this before, but let's look up. Let's open a tab. What is an allegory? An allegory is a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one. Now, this is not a political message in this book, I will say that. It is The Pilgrim's Progress is an allegory of the spiritual journey. Well, I would say The Story of With is kind of a allegory of the spiritual journey as well. Each person's own spiritual journey. So, James Arnold Taylor Podcast, episode 30, sponsored by Alan Arnold's book, The Story of With, A Better Way to Live, Love, and Create. I'll talk about it a little bit more later on in the podcast. But there you go. Go to Amazon.com, go to Audible.com, and get that book. Please do me a favor. If you're a JAT fan and you love what JAT says and does, you're going to love this book. Honestly, because it really gives you actual practical tools. Okay, I love you, Alan Arnold. And I wish you the absolute best with the book, and I hope many, many people get the book after listening to this. I hope that we see some numbers go in there. That'd be fun. So here it is, episode 30. Now, look, I thought, man, there's so many things I could say and do because it's a podcast and that's what you do. I'm going to share with you all some of the podcasts I listen to. And one of them specifically, my buddy Zeke Cam does. I'm going to try to get Zeke and Jared Rasick. Rasick. I'm sorry, Jared. I listen to your podcast all the time. How do I not know how to pronounce your name? But Jared and Zeke, they are on this, it's called Unwinder. And they record this live from the last Blockbuster video store in Oregon, in Bend, Oregon. So Zeke and I have been friends for many, many years. Zeke is a very talented filmmaker, writer, producer, director, inventor. He has invented some really cool things. And Jared is a film critic and a darn good one, actually. I find I generally agree with him. And I don't even know Jared. Look at that. But I want to try to get them on the podcast here sometime. But if you're looking for a fun, just a couple guys like this show. Now they might cuss and stuff on theirs, and it's not a Christian show or anything. I'm not a Christian show either, but I talk about my faith a lot here. But they're just two fun guys sitting in a Blockbuster video store, and they're talking about movies and pop culture and just stuff. And it's just a fun, funny show. And they have guests on. They got good guests on too. And so check out Unwinder. Okay. So this is just kind of my, my episode where I'm talking about things that I watch and listen to. And of course it is sponsored by The Story of With Alan Arnold. So, but I'm giving you, you should have a pen and paper with you when you're listening to this episode of the JATcast, because I'm giving you a bunch of stuff that I listen to, that I like, and that I recommend. But anyway, so what else do I listen to and recommend? Podcast-wise, I listen to Unwinder, yes. I listen to The Forcecast. I listen to Speech Bubble. I listen to Coffee with Kenobi. I listen to Hello Baby. I listen to Going Off Topic. That is a listener here at the JATcast. Snark Monkey by my good friend Larry Morgan. Talkin' Tunes, which I believe Talkin' Tunes is coming back. Big Pop Fun by my buddy Tom Wilson. It's he's not making new episodes, but it's still in there. I listen to Know the Truth. One of the most powerful podcasts I listen to is called Know the Truth with Pastor Philip DeCourcy. Go to knowthetruth.org or ktt.org and check them out. Man, is that good stuff. I listen to John Eldridge's Ransomed Heart, and that's my good friend Alan Arnold, who wrote The Story of With, A Better Way to Live, Love, and Create, sponsoring this show. He works for Ransomed Heart, and he is on their podcast quite a bit. You can hear Alan if you bought the book Story of With, and you're like, I wanted to hear Alan's voice, and you heard James's voice. You can hear Alan on the Ransomed Heart podcast quite a bit. I listen to Tony Evans, Dr. Tony Evans, his podcast, and that is called The Alternative. These are, most of the ones I listen to, yes, they are Christian. I listen to The Bible Project. And like I say, Speech Bubble, that's my good buddy Butch Hartman and Jace Deal. I listen to Dr. Charles Stanley. Hello Baby is, of course, Matt Lanter and Angela Lanter. And I listen to their podcast all the time. And Matt listens to this podcast. And Matt then he was doing impressions of Hank and stuff on theirs. And that's great. I love that. So those are some of the podcasts I listen to. Let's see, what else? What do I do? I don't know. I drink a lot of water. That's what I do. Drink some water, everybody. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about those. I thought it'd be good if we took some emails. You know what? I'm gonna maybe give Bob the day off. Hey, Bob. Oh yeah, hello, James. You know what, Bob? I'm gonna read the emails today. Oh, and dibbity-doo and dibbity-dee. Okay, I'll go in the other room and listen to the show. All right, Bob. Thanks. Okay, and dibbity-dee. Bye-bye. Look at that. I'm not doing a ton of voices on the show today. For one, I'm a little froggy. I'm a little hoarse. A lot of allergies and stuff. And if I can't do the voices great, I'm not going to do them. But also, sometimes I just feel like talking. And if I have to do the voices, then it's like I'm trying. So normally on every episode, 29 other episodes of this show, I have started with a little bit where I'm talking with one of the voices or several of the voices and doing bits and stuff. And I was going to get into all that and do all the voices that have been on the show, here, because we're at the 30th episode. But it's not like 30's like, when I get to 100, then that'll be a big party. 30 was just kind of fun to say 30. So today I am going to just read some of these emails. I want to get through them all. And if Bob's not in here reading them, I get through them a little quicker. So anyways, there you go. So I'm going to read some of these. Let's see. Let's take a look. This is from Josh in Australia. G'day, mate, I should say. He says, "Hi, Jat. Now that you've been podcasting, YouTubing for a while, do you find yourself absorbing more of the behind-the-scenes stories so that you can talk about them in your shows? I'd love to hear a behind-the-scenes recap from each episode of the new season of Clone Wars as they air, and I wondered if podcasting has changed your perspective while being on the job." So, Josh, that's interesting. You're asking, well, obviously I can't talk about Clone Wars until they're out, but you're saying that when they're out, maybe after they've aired, I can then talk about behind the scenes of what went on in each of those episodes. We'll see. We'll see. We're still sworn to secrecies and NDAs and stuff. We're not really supposed to talk about stuff, no matter what. But, and then you ask also, do I take in more of the behind the scenes stories now so I can talk about them later? No, because I'm so trained to not talk about anything. And as I say, we're really, as voice actors and NDAs and stuff, we're really not supposed to talk about stuff even after it's come out. We're not supposed to really get into the behind the scenes and the minutia. So I usually wait a good 5 years or so before talking about things, because then it's kind of, it's really over and done, and then I can talk about it. I'll tell some stories every once in a while from stuff we did on Clone Wars, before, because that was, 5 years ago or whatever. But, and wondered if podcasting has changed my perspective on while being on the job. Maybe a little. I don't know. The thing I love about podcasting is it just allows me the opportunity to just be me and just talk to you guys. And it's kind of like my stage show. My stage show I really did just to kind of show people who I am and what I am and what I'm about. And I'm rewriting the show right now, and I'm having actually a lot of trouble because I wrote this great show, and I know that sounded I don't mean that to sound like, oh, I wrote this great show. I mean, I know this is a great show because everybody loved the show, and it was very well received, and I really enjoyed it. I know it was a good show, and it's okay, by the way, to say that. If you do something that you're good at, it's okay to say that you're good at it. It's not a humble brag or whatever people say. It's just, be honest. If you know you've done something that's admirable or good or well done, you can say, well, I know I did a good job with that. I know I did a good job with my stage show talking to myself because, I've taken it all over the world, and I get multiple standing ovations in each show, and people say their lives get changed by it and affected by it, and people write me letters all the time about it. So I know that it's a great show. I know that it's an inspiring show, and so I'm rewriting it and trying to change it, add more about my personal life in it and my personal story, because my personal story is an interesting story. My story is like one out of a movie. It really is. Discovering that I wasn't who I thought I was at the age of 42, and my father wasn't who I thought he was, and all that's a very interesting story. And so I'm trying to work some of those elements into my stage show while still keeping it upbeat and fun and doing characters and all of that. So I've been working on that. All of these things change my perspective, I guess, to a degree. But and I love sharing behind the scenes stories. I really do, Josh. I wish I could share more of them. It's just unfortunate that I can't really until later. So what I try to do is I try to give you guys little stories here and there from, my way in the past, when I either wasn't signed to NDAs or the NDAs have kind of run out because the shows have come and gone and such like that. But, it's changed how has podcasting changed my perspective while being on the job? Well, I don't think it really has on the job, because again, on the job, it's just different. The only thing is I may be talking to a friend on the job and go, hey, I should have you on my podcast sometime or something. But yeah. All right. So there you go. Let's see. This one is from Nicholas in the United States. Nicholas says, hey there, James. You may know me as the solo photographer on your YouTube comments. Oh, solo photographer. Yeah, I just read actually some of those on the last week's episode. I just wanted to say thank you for everything you do. The tips of being a voice actor, your stories, especially your Disney stories, being present for all of your Star Wars weekends moments are probably some of the highlights of my life. And you are truly an inspiration for me as an actor, but as an avid Disney fan and of course Star Wars fan. Just wanted to say thank you for everything you do and being a positive role model for me. If you ever do calls on the show, which we did talk about doing calls on the show at one point, I would love to be on it and talk about experiencing Star Wars weekends and how you did it all. I actually just dealt with black mold in my house and had to leave my house for 6 months due to home renovations and getting it the mold out. It did damage my insides and voice, but because of you, I didn't freak out about it and managed to deal with it. And I thank you again for that. Take care, Jat. Wow, Nicholas, I'm so sorry to hear about that. And if you folks listening to this show, if you know my story at all, I was exposed to black toxic mold years ago and lost my voice and all of that. So that's why Nicholas is saying that. Nicholas, my prayers are with you and your family, and I pray that your house is better now. And I pray for the best for you. I really do. And I'm sorry to hear that you had to deal with black mold. I pray for your health and all of your health, everybody in the house. And but thank you. Yeah, you're talking about if I ever do phone calls on the show. I'd like to do phone calls on the show. It's just really just a matter of figuring out a time to say, hey, I'm going to do phone calls on social media and then giving the number out. And then see, the problem is then people are going to just keep calling the number all the time too. But it's a computer number. It's on the computer and stuff. It's a program and all that. So we'll try to figure it out. And if so, then you can call in and that'll be wonderful. But thank you. And again, I'm so sorry to hear about the mold. Okay. This one is from Derek in Orlando, Florida. Derek says, James, though you may not know this, and sad to say, sorry, I am a little behind on your podcast, but the January 9th podcast, you said my name. Now, I know there are probably multiple Dereks that have emailed you in the past, as I have, but while listening to the podcast on 4/29/19, I told you I was behind, you said you prayed for me. For that, I thank you. And by the way, Derek, yes, it was you. I have an amazing life. My wife is awesome. I have a beautiful daughter. My job, well, that is the biggest pain in my life. I also battle depression and anxiety. The day I heard you say my name in prayer, it lifted me. I felt God's presence. I'm trying to give more things to God. It is tough, as I love control, but I am trying. So thank you, James. Your words are lifting people. Your prayers are making a difference. You are truly one of the kindest people I have ever met. And I met you, I guess, Derek, at Star Wars Weekends, you say. So, James, I too will say a prayer for you and yours, for the love you have shown me and us. I pray God will bless you the same. Derek, thank you so much. Yes, for all of you, some people get uncomfortable with me talking about all that. And I could tell by the massive amounts of thumbs downs I got on last episode 29, which really bummed me out that people would give me thumbs downs on YouTube. And they don't put comments or anything. They just give me a thumbs down. And I have a feeling it was because I talked about how I pray, and I talked about praying in Jesus' name and all of that. And I talked about other religions, and I think people were offended by that. So if people were offended, please, no, I'm sorry. Because you have to listen to the entire podcast, because what I always will say is I'm not judging anybody else or trying to offend anybody. This is my belief system, And I know you're going, here he goes again. Yeah, guess what? I talk about it every time because it's part of my life, and it's who I am, and it's what I do. And I every day give it over to God. And you know what? My life is that much better because of it. It really, really is. And that's all I can tell you. The proof is in the pudding. Pudding. Yeah, I like pudding. Thanks, Hank. All right. So there you go. Thank you so much, Derek. God bless you. I'm praying for you as well. All right. Oh, I just noticed I was going through these, by the way, and I saw that one from which I had read before. Megan had asked about Avengers End Game. I did go see Avengers End Game a couple weeks ago, everybody. Actually, the day the last episode came out. And I got to tell you, and okay, spoiler alert, if you have not seen Avengers End Game yet, fast forward the podcast. We're at 24 minutes and 12 seconds or so now. Jump ahead to about 26 minutes and 15 seconds, okay? So jump ahead about 2 minutes in the podcast. Do it now. All right, I'm going to talk about Avengers Endgame. I did not like Avengers Endgame. I thought it was depressing. I thought it was sad. I thought it was not what comic books were about. I think that we are getting too real in our movies nowadays, and we've forgotten the joy of a happy ending. And I know many of you would say, no, it was hopeful and it was good. No, it was depressing. It was a depressing movie. And the one before it was depressing, and I was like, okay, but the next one won't be. No, this one was more depressing. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Hollywood and movies being so real. And, and we have to be real about things and tell the real stuff, and life's hard. And no, you know when life's hard? Life's hard when you decide life's hard and you are going to just be depressed about everything and make everything real, Hollywood. Grow up, Hollywood. Make some fun, exciting movies that inspire people again. You know why I am who I am? Because I was inspired by movies as a kid. If I was a kid right now, I'd be depressed. You know why? Because every movie, including the superhero ones, stink. They're all about depressing things of people dying and bad guys winning, and they destroy the city. It's dumb. I'm sorry if you disagree with me. I'm sorry if you all liked it. Please don't put a thumbs down on this show now because you don't like that I'm talking negatively about Endgame. I have a right to my own opinion. You have a right to your own opinion, but you don't have to give me a thumbs down because I'm saying my opinion on my show. Okay? So anyways, there you go. Wasn't a fan, didn't like it, thought it was depressing. Won't be watching any more of those anytime soon. Okay. Did you jump ahead? Okay, you can stop. You can stop if you've jumped ahead. If you're one of those people that jumped ahead because you didn't want to hear the end game thing and all that, stop now. You can stop and you can listen. And we'll get back to the emails. Here we go. So many wonderful emails from so many wonderful people. And let's see. Hello, Jat. Steven here. I go by Cosmictron on YouTube. Most call me Cosmic. Was wondering, whenever you had the time, I would like for you to drop into Dang's 08 24/7 Final Fantasy live stream just to hang out a bit in the chat with the Final Fantasy X fans. Of course, you can pick the date and time best for you, and I will tell Dang's 08. I don't know. Hopefully we can make this happen for the community. Hetty Burris had the pleasure of dropping in yesterday. Thank you, Stephen or Cosmictron, for the invite. I more than likely will not drop in on that. And it is of absolute no offense. It's just not my thing. I don't do the live stream stuff. I don't fully grasp all that is involved in doing all of that and jumping in on chats and stuff. I'm just not good at it. I'm just not going to do it. And I really appreciate the invite because I know that you guys have invited me a few times to do this for our Final Fantasy fans. Look, I love all the Final Fantasy fans, even the ones that don't love me. And I'd love to say thank you to everybody. So you can pass on that, I send my absolute best to everybody and thank you everybody for supporting Final Fantasy for all these years. And you can play this little clip saying thank you to everybody there at the Final Fantasy live stream. And that is so cool that Hetty did it. But I just don't do the live stream stuff. It's just not my thing. So I really appreciate the invite. I hope you're not offended by that. Please don't be, because it's no offense. It's just not my thing. And I'm not good at that stuff. So, okay. So there you go. God bless you, my friend. I thank you so much for writing me. Let's see. Now I've been getting a few from a person by the name of Thanny. Thanny, if you're listening, I think your real name is Nathaniel. You've sent me several emails to the James Arnold Taylor podcast, the JATcast podcast. You've gone to jamesarnoldtaylor.com, clicked on the Jat Show link, and chose a topic, which is the JATcast podcast, and you've sent me some emails. You've sent me several. And that's very nice of you. But here's one thing that I will ask, and I actually replied to your very first one, and I asked you kindly in it. So I'm asking you kindly here to stop addressing your emails to me as Jimmy. My name is not Jimmy. It is not Jim. I am James. You can call me Jat. You can call me James. But you cannot call me Jimmy. I am not Jimmy. And I don't like being called something that I'm not. So I've asked you politely, and it feels a little disrespectful and rude now that you're sending me emails where you keep calling me Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. It's not appreciated. And I'm asking you kindly to stop doing that. Because the rest of your emails, you have questions and such, and that's fine. But you're not being respectful to me by addressing me by the way I'm asking to be addressed. And that's civil to do that, okay? So you're Nathaniel and you may go by Thanny, but it doesn't mean that everybody else goes by Jimmy or Joey or whatever. My name is James. So the next email I get from you, I would hope is addressed to James or Jat. I'm fine with Jat, okay? So until you can address the emails the way that I've asked you to, I'm not going to answer any of your emails, okay? And I'm not trying to be rude, but I am trying to tell you realistically, I don't appreciate it, okay? I've never been a Jimmy. I don't like being called Jim or Jimmy, okay? All right. So there you go. Thank you, Thanny. This is Sandra Bateman wrote me a lovely letter, and it was very kind and wonderful and all of that. But she wrote a book, and it's called Commit Thy Work by Sandra Bateman, and it's on Amazon. So look at that. I'm going to give her a little plug there. Even though, yes, this show is sponsored by Alan Arnold's The Story of With. Sorry, Alan, I'm plugging another book on Amazon. But while they're at Amazon picking up a copy of The Story of With, they can check out Sandra Bateman's book, Commit Thy Work. I'm just giving her a shameless plug. And Cassandra is a fan of the JATcast, and Cassandra is a wonderful, lovely young lady. And Cassandra, I just want you to know I got your emails and I emailed you back, and I just want to say you are in my prayers always, and you can do it, Cassandra. You can do whatever you set your mind to in this world and in this life, okay? I believe in you. I pray for you often, and I want you to know that, okay? All right, so there you go. Let's see. What do we got? We got so many emails. Here's an interesting one from Francisco. And Francisco is from Italy. Wow. I want to go to Italy, Francisco. If I go to Italy, maybe you can show me around Rome. You're from the capital, Rome. Says, hi, Jat. You can call me Frank. Okay, I'll call you Frank. Sorry. And I'm from the capital, Rome. And I admire you. I've admired you since the thing from Final Fantasy X back in 2003 when I was playing it. And I was 8 years old. I remember that it was very hard for me to learn how to whistle like you did in the cutscenes. So my question is, were you already capable to whistle with two fingers in the mouth, or did you have to learn it for the part? Thanks, Frank. I appreciate the question. It's an interesting question because, for those of you that know Final Fantasy X, yes, Tidus does the thing where he puts, puts the fingers in his mouth and does the whistle. That thing. But here's a little secret for you, Frank, and for all of you Final Fantasy fans that have wondered. That's not me whistling. No, I had a stunt double come in and whistle for me because I cannot whistle with two fingers like that. But I can whistle like that. I can whistle. I'm actually quite a good whistler both of those ways. And that was why it was helpful for me when I played Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. The cartoon, the animated series, I play Yondu. And so it's been helpful for me playing him that way and being able to whistle because I do all my own whistling on that show. But for Final Fantasy, I did not do my own whistling because I cannot whistle with the two fingers like that. It's a very specific sound to it. And so my whistles that I did, you'd be able to tell that it wasn't the same kind of whistle. So they had, I think they used the whistle that they had done from the Japanese. They used the same whistle. Now, whether or not that was the actual Japanese actor and his whistle, I do not know. I can't remember, actually. So there you go, Frank. God bless you, Frank. Italy, I think that's wonderful. And I hope to visit Rome someday. I truly do. I really do. It is one of my dream places to go, my wife and I. And I am a quarter Italian, I think, or something like that. And so I have Italian in my blood. And so I'm basically a lot of English, Scottish, Irish, and then some Italian and some Serbian. And that's mainly what I am. You do the whole Ancestry.com or the 23andMe. That's what I am. Because I didn't know. Because I thought my father was another person, and then turns out he was another guy, and So there you go. Anyways, okay, I'm jumping around, but there you go, Frank. Sorry, sorry to disappoint. I didn't do the whistle, but there you go. All right. This one is from Jesus, and Jesus says, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to have Bob come in and read Jesus's letter because he addresses Bob in this. Hey, Bob. Oh, yes, James. Yes, you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you. You want me to read? Oh, yes, I remember this one. Yes, okay, I will read it. Jesus says, hey, James, I'm really loving your podcast so far. I always listen to it in the car ride to and from work. You have such a gentle voice, and I'm so glad I decided to check out your podcast. Hank has got to be my favorite character so far.
Hey, Jesus, yeah, all right. Hey, he's got good taste. Hello, Jesus.
All right.
I actually have a question concerning Final Fantasy X. As I was replaying it for the 5th time now, I came across a scene where Tidus, after collecting all the Albed primers, has a short conversation with Rin, the Albed merchant, on the airship. So my question to you is, when it came to recording the lines for that scene, was it very difficult to read the Albed language, or was there a trick to speak it? I look forward to hearing your responses. I'm genuinely curious as to how it went down. Keep up the amazing work, James, and know I'll always be listening to your podcast till the very end.
Good. Well, I hope there is no end. I hope it goes on and on. But thank you, Jesus. I appreciate that. Oh, and then there's a P.S., Bob.
Yes, that's a P.S. It says, hey, Bob, you're also doing an amazing job. Thank you very much.
Okay, Bob, thanks.
All right, we'll see you.
So, again, a Final Fantasy X question. For many of you that know Final Fantasy X, there is the Albed language that I had to speak. And if memory serves, it was not difficult. Basically, the producer Alex, who was also the translator for all of the Japanese producers. So we had, when we recorded Final Fantasy X many, many years ago, Jack Fletcher was the director. Jack Fletcher was the director, and a dear friend of mine and a wonderful, wonderful director. He did a great job on that. He directed me. He chose me. He cast me. I love him to pieces for that, and am thankful to him, and will always be thankful to him for casting me in Final Fantasy X. And Jack and Alex, the producer, so Jack spoke English. Alex was an American, and he spoke both English and Japanese. And so he would translate all of that, but he was also pretty good with languages and stuff. So if memory serves correctly, he kind of, read me through it a little, and they helped me on, pronunciations of things. And I just kind of mimicked back what they did. And that's generally what happens for me if I have to do like a strange language. In Star Wars worlds, I have to do that a lot too. And so you just, I don't remember any of it offhand. Sorry, Jesus, I don't remember. But yes, so I remember it was fun. I always liked that. I always liked the challenge of kind of speaking another language or something. And of course, it's a language that is from the game, so it's a fantasy language, so that makes it even more fun. So I don't remember there being any real tricks other than just kind of copying what they would have me say. So at least I didn't have I didn't do the whistle, but I did speak the language. So there you go. So those are some Final Fantasy X questions, and I thank you guys for those. I really do. And this one is from Eric out in Philadelphia. Says, thanks for recommending the Aston Origin microphone. It's what I'm using to record my comedy podcast. Oh, well, so that's very cool. You have a comedy podcast. You didn't give yourself a shameless plug, Eric, to say what your podcast is, so I could go back and listen to it and whatever. So anyways, there you go. Let's go through and see what else we got. This is a lovely one I got from a pastor, actually, by the name of Michelle from the United States. Says, been a fan of your work since first discovering you were the voice for Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, and have recently started tuning into the JATcast as of episode 19. Wanted to comment on episode 20, in which you discussed bullying and some of the experiences your daughter has faced. Thank you for being willing to share such real-life experiences and for being a positive voice, for taking a stand, sharing your faith, and expressing that there are better choices people can make. I know your faith is an important reason for your perspective on life, and as a fellow Christian, I can relate. It's heartening to see those like yourself striving to live authentically what they believe and finding ways to share it in an uplifting way. While I'm sorry that your daughter or anyone would have to deal with issues like those you've shared, I commend you for what is evident in her response and behavior in those situations. I believe it demonstrates her faith and character as well as a testament to yours and your wife's efforts to be good parents. So keep up the good work there. Oh, I thank you so much for that, Michelle. Also, Michelle puts, I've enjoyed the past 2 episodes so much that I've also gone back to the beginning to play catch up. I'll confess to fighting the temptation to binge listen all the episodes one after another. Again, let me say how much I appreciate discovering the positive and encouraging entertainment venue. The JATcast is fun and thought-provoking and definitely displays your skill and love of your craft. I'm a children's pastor, so I'm also often on the lookout for things I can recommend to kids and families as entertainment choices that are family-friendly. I'll definitely be adding the JATcast to my list of such recordings. Recommendations, as well as telling friends who think would enjoy it. Thank you for sharing your love of voice acting in such an enjoyable and inspiring way. May God bless you for your faithfulness to share that love and how it meshes so wonderfully with your faith and life, and may the Lord continue to use you in the unique ways in which he has blessed you. In short, thank you, James, for sharing yourself with others. Such investments are not wasted blessings in Christ. Thank you so much, Michelle. That is a lovely email. And I read that whole thing for a couple reasons, too. One is you can always go back and listen to all the episodes. If you're new to the show, go back and listen, because there is kind of a story to it all. If you come in now, you may not really know who all these characters are that I'm doing and I'm talking to, or that they're all me, that all the characters on the show are me. So, it's a fun thing to do. And, of course, this show makes me no money. I don't do it for any of that. I do it just to open the door of my life, for all of you, and, show you what it's all about. Being a voice actor in Hollywood, living this kind of crazy life. As somebody had put, on one of the last episodes, they thought I was denigrating myself or putting myself down by saying I'm just a lowly voice actor or whatever. I say that in jest, because the truth is just that Hollywood does not respect voice actors or look at us as real actors or performers. Really, it's interesting. It used to be the voice actors could also get jobs as hosts on TV shows and stuff. And it's funny, my wife and I were scrolling through Hulu and looking at all these game shows now. Game shows are huge. And all of the hosts are actors. And they're not just actors, they're like movie stars. Alec Baldwin, Elizabeth Banks, Joel McHale. These are people that star on TV shows and movies. And now they're hosting game shows. And so it's fascinating. Celebrity has taken over. And so there's just not as much open for voice actors or the everyday character actor to get work, because celebrities want all of the work now. They want the voiceover jobs. They want the hosting jobs. They want the cartoon jobs on cartoons, and they want the TV commercial voiceover jobs. And sadly, these gigantic corporations that own everything have the money to pay them. The way too much money. They could pay a voice actor a quarter of what they're paying an Alec Baldwin and Alec Baldwin would say, hey, don't take money from my kids' mouths, James. And I'd say, Alec, if you've invested your money well, which you should, and I know you have. And again, I love Alec Baldwin. I think he's fantastic. I think he's great. I just don't want to see him host Match Game. But I would say, no, I'm not taking money out of your kid's mouth. You're taking money out of my kid's mouth, actually, because now as a voice actor, I can't get that work. And Hollywood and all the big corporations that run Hollywood now, that also are making all the movies the way they are and thinking everything is a group. There's no creative decision making in it all. It's all about what groups say, focus groups and stuff say, are allowing this, and they're paying the money to pay the celebrities, and they think that all of you consumers only want celebrities. So let them know they're wrong. Let them know you'd like other celebrities, like voice actors, like your favorite voice actors hosting things. I don't know. Or not, if you don't want, it doesn't matter. Anyways, it's crazy. And as long as we all kind of go, yeah, I guess they get them. But it's made it harder and harder for voice actors to find different things. Because I love hosting stuff. Now, I hosted Star Wars Weekends for many years. I hosted Star Wars Celebration. But even that, I've been replaced by my friend Warwick Davis, who I love Warwick. But Warwick is a celebrity. He's an on-camera celebrity, see? So that's why he's doing the job and I'm not, because they think, well, voice actor, not as important. So I never am putting myself down. I'm just honestly telling you all, that's the state of affairs in Hollywood, is that we are not looked at as real performers. And we just aren't. And I'm not, I'm not offended by it, because I know we are real performers. I don't put myself down. I'm just telling the truth. It's a shame. It really is a shame. But that's the way it is. Hey, I should give you all, thank you, by the way, for all the emails, lovely emails. And I just want to read some of those and encourage you all to send me an email if you want. So again, so many of the emails that I get are really just kind letters saying thank you and stuff. And so I choose some of them and read them, and others I keep private, because I don't necessarily want to, make you feel funny if I'm reading your really lovely letters to me where you kind of open up about your lives. I'm so appreciative of that. When you all send me letters that just kind of say, this is how this show has touched your life and changed your life or helped you, it touches my heart. And I got to tell you, this episode, I started and stopped 3 times before this. This is the 4th time I hit record to start the show, and I finally just blew past my feelings. The last episode I put out, I mentioned it briefly here just a little while ago. I got some thumbs downs, and it bummed me out. It really did. It really bums me out when I get the thumbs downs. I expect that one thumbs down from that one person that just doesn't like me, and I blocked them. And because they were saying really hateful things about me on YouTube in the comments section. And so I blocked them and reported them to YouTube. But YouTube, the system still allows them to give thumbs downs. And I think that that's wrong. I think YouTube, if somebody's blocked, they should be blocked from being able to thumbs down somebody's video. I also think thumbs downs should only be given after somebody has listened to an entire or watched an entire video on YouTube. I don't think you should be able to put a thumbs down or a rating on something. You can comment, sure, but not a thumbs up or thumbs down until you've watched the entire thing. That's my opinion. That could be totally wrong, but that's my opinion as a YouTuber that puts out content and hates it when he sees thumbs downs pop up within the first 30 minutes of a 90-minute video that I know they couldn't have listened to the entire thing. I got like 5 thumbs downs right away. And I think most people were offended probably by my talking about my faith and talking about my comparison of religions and such. I in no way am trying to say other religions aren't important or anything. I wasn't trying to do any of that. So, didn't mean to offend people. And if they listened to the entire podcast, they would have noticed that. But so you'll notice that episode 29 was taken down off of YouTube. I did that because after not even 24 hours, I had gotten several thumbs downs from people. And I just thought, you know what, I don't want to see all that. I'm not, and you don't need to go, oh, James, don't let the haters get to you. They don't get to me. It's just, I want this show to be a positive experience for everybody. And so if you put a bunch of thumbs downs just because you don't like something I said without actually hearing it out first and really listening and then thinking and going, does he have a right to that? Yes. Do I have a right to give a thumbs down? Yes, I do. And that's, you may go, that's my right. Yeah, it's your right. But, when people are putting content out, heartfelt content with the intent to help and educate people on who they are and how they are and what they are, I don't think you need to go and rain on their parade by putting a thumbs down without actually even taking it all in just because you heard one thing you didn't like. That's my opinion. And I may be wrong on that, and I may get more thumbs downs now. And if I do, you know what? People grow up. That's what no. Just think before you hit that thumbs down that it's just silly. Anyways, gonna be wrapping this podcast up a little quicker, only because I'll be honest, it is the evening. It's almost 9:30 at night. My wife and I are alone because my daughter is at summer camp, and that's wonderful. One of 2. She has 2 summer camp trips. One is a missions trip she's going on with our church, and the other is with our church right now, and they're just having a fun trip. So she's gone. So my wife and I have time to spend together, and I really cherish that time. So I'm doing this podcast now, but I'd like to be hanging out with my wife, and while yes, I love all of you, and you all are a priority to me, my family is the absolute first priority, and so she was kind enough to say, go record the podcast because she knew I needed to put one out here. But in turn, I want to give back to her as well and give her some of my time and spend time with her. Anyways, this episode, I want to just update you a little. So the podcast may come out a little more sporadically. I went to every other week, and I want to try to make it as often as I can. I'd love to go back to weekly. It's hard to do with my schedule. And I was making this film that I'm making, and a little update on the film. The film's production is actually halted right now. We are not moving forward right now. It's very expensive to try and make a movie, and it's very difficult to try and make a low budget film because your actors are paid the minimum. So their schedules are hard to get together because they have to take the other work that's more important. So we've had to take a break from shooting. We shot 9 scenes that were my scenes, and they've come out very well, and we're very pleased with it. But and I would love to continue making this movie. I cut 1 scene together from the 9 that we shot, and I've showed it to a few very select people, and everybody's comments have been that they just loved it. Now the crazy thing is so when I made this movie, when I wrote the script and everything, I was really hoping that Pure Flix or Affirm or one of these other Christian faith-based companies would be interested in the script because it's an interesting, unique take. It's shot in a way that can be done incredibly cheap. In fact, I have no budget for this movie at all. I'm making it just quite literally out of my pocket, the money I have, wherever I have spare money. And I have the equipment, so I'm shooting that, and I'm doing favors. My friend James Burns, who's a brilliant filmmaker and should get paid for his work, is working for free for me. Jace Deal, who's a great producer, wants to be a showrunner and all of that, and works for Butch Hartman and Speech Bubble and all of Butch's productions. These people are very talented people, and they're giving their time and effort. And Robert Carpenter, another friend of mine, who's a director and producer and writer-creator, all giving their time and effort. Catherine Tabor, they're all, they love the project. They want to be involved in it, but it's very hard to get everybody's schedules right and stuff. And we don't have it. But so I was saying, I wanted one of these companies to, and I really was praying for that one of these companies would look at it and go, yeah, we'll give you the, $50,000 it would take to maybe, to make this movie. Because in a perfect world, I'd have a budget of say like $150,000 or something. But I literally could shoot this movie for $50,000 and pay everybody, and which would be wonderful. But right now, I'm having to do it out of my pocket here and there and piecemeal because I'm doing it just out of my own pocket with what I have. And so we've had to halt production. Here's the crazy thing is all of the film companies that I've sent it to, they've all said, oh yeah, it's very unique, really creative idea. We like the script, all of that, but it's not a big enough budget for us. We're only concentrating on big budget movies like, $40 million or bigger, or, big budget. They want big budgets for big returns. And I've actually had, I won't say which, I had one of these Christian companies. They are one of the top Christian companies of Christian films say to me, the message is too Christian. We're trying to veer away from that. And your message is too Christian. The crazy thing about this movie is it's not, I'm calling it a faith-based movie because I do talk about faith in it, but this movie is basically like this podcast. It's more so about the story of people and their lives who happen to be Christian. And so because they happen to be Christian, they talk about their faith in it. It's not a come to Jesus movie. It's not a God's Not Dead or, any of these movies like that. I'm not knocking any of them either, but those have very specific agendas. This film doesn't have an agenda. This film is a lovely story based off of a biblical story, which is the prodigal son. So I guess in their minds, they see it as that's too Christian and we want a wider audience and we want to cast our nets wide and we don't want to produce things that are just Christian, which bravo, that's fine. That's good. That's great. But this isn't really a Christian movie. So I found it really interesting. and a bit disheartening, actually, that the biggest, one of the biggest producers of Christian content said, yeah, it's a little too Christian for us. And again, I don't see it that way, and I don't know if anybody else that has read the script has seen it that way, except for these film companies. So there you go. I'm too Christian for the film companies that are the Christian film companies. I'm too Christian for the non-Christian film companies, and my budget is too small. The crazy thing is the budget of this film would be less than one day's budget on the movies that they're talking about making, these $40 million movies or whatever. I can make this movie for, like I say, $50,000. Now, I'm not going to do, they all go, well, you should do crowdfunding. I'm not going to do crowdfunding. First off, I'm not going to ask all of you to pay me money so I can make a movie so you can go pay to watch that movie. That doesn't make sense. That's kind of stupid. Look, I think crowdfunding is great. It's helped a lot of my friends and it's done a lot for a lot of people. It's not for me, okay? I just don't feel right doing it. I just don't. And I feel strongly about that. So, if you're someone that prays, pray for a blessing for me a financial blessing for me to be able to finish making this movie, because I want to make it. I really do. I have a passion for it. I really want to tell this story. I think it's a really neat, enjoyable story. And for those of you that love this podcast, I'm playing the main character, and he's a lot like me. And he just kind of tells this story to this young filmmaker that's making this documentary about him and shares with her stories. And he just happens to be Christian, so he talks about his faith a lot, but he's never pushing it on anybody or has any agenda. And just like me. So there you go. It's funny. It's just funny, Hollywood's perception. So even Christian Hollywood is just not getting it, in my opinion. So, yeah. What would I love in my life? I would love to be so financially stable that that I could just create stuff for my YouTube channel and stuff for my podcast. Because I probably would switch to a not daily podcast, but probably 3 to 4 times a week podcast, and I would make videos on my YouTube channel all the time. And I would paint my paintings, and I would just and I would go and perform my show for free. I would just go around inspiring people even more so than I am now. That's what I would do if I had all the money in the world. Well, and I would also give it to many charities. Anyways, I'm off on a tangent, but I wanted to update you all on the film Sons and Daughters and where it is. And right now it is halted, and it was a huge decision my wife and I made, and it was a tearful decision. But we made it a couple weeks ago, and I shaved my beard off because I had grown this beard for it. I got to be honest, because the truth was there was no end in sight. So it was like, well, we could be making this movie for the next 6 months, and I don't want to do that. I want to make the movie for 2 weeks. It would take 2 weeks to shoot this movie if I had the budget, and I would shoot it, and then I would spend the next several months editing it and creating the story. And I need to find a great Photoshop specialist, somebody that can work in Photoshop really well. So if any of you are that, send me an email, and maybe you can work on it. I have no budget, so but if you want a credit in a major motion picture that will eventually get released, there you go. That's what you can do. You can send me a link to your work, and I'll take a look, and we'll see. Yeah, but saying it will get released. Each one of these big Christian movie companies all said, "Oh, but when it's done, we'll distribute it for you." So I can get it distributed after I make it, but no one will give the money to make it, even though the money is less than like the wardrobe would be, or hair and makeup for one of these films, or the catering budget, literally, for one of the films they're trying to make. Anyway, so that's what's happening with my film. It is on hold. It is, I don't want to say it's discouraging, but it's sad. It makes me sad. And the podcast, I want to be producing it more often, but I'm struggling to find the time and the energy and and all to do it all the time. And, cause I gotta, I'm doing a lot of cons right now too. I leave in a couple days for a con in, Long Island. And I'll be out there at Eternal Con. So if you're in Long Island, please come and see me at the Eternal Con, okay? There you go. So anyways, it's getting later and later here in the evening, and you can probably hear my energy level is actually winding down, and my voice is getting a little hoarse. So I'm going to wrap this podcast, but I will say I love you all. I believe in all of you. Please don't stop believing in yourself. And now you've got that song, Don't Stop Believing, in your head, which is great because it's a great song. Go listen to it. It's very inspiring. And do something inspiring with the rest of your time here today, tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this, okay? Be inspired, because there is much in this world to be joyful for and to be inspired by. And it is my prayer that each and every one of you, even those of you that give me the thumbs down, even those of you that don't always like everything I say, would go, you know what, that guy, I may not believe exactly like him, but boy, he's honest and he's just being himself. And that's all I want to be. Because I love just having conversations with people like that. You know, that's the real deal right there. So God bless you all. May you be fruitful. May you prosper. And may you come to a belief like the belief I have. That's my wish, obviously. Sorry if that sounds like I'm pushing my religion on you. I'm not. And may you have a blessed day, week. And the next one, just like this one, will be sponsored by Alan Arnold's book, The Story of With, A Better Way to Live, Love, and Create. It is available on Amazon.com. Go to Amazon.com, get the book. Get it as a Kindle, or get it as a paperback, or get it as an Audible audio book. All of them affordable, all of them wonderful. This book actually could, if you really apply it, if you really take it all in, change your way of thinking and living and pursuing your dreams. It really can help with that. It really can. And it's wonderful. And, the book is the sponsor of the show, but I'm not charging Alan anything for it. I am so taken by the story of With. And of course, the with being with the Creator, with God, with creating with God. That's the ultimate goal for all of us as human beings. And so that's why it's called The Story of With. And go back and listen to some of the episodes of the JATcast where I interviewed Alan Arnold. If you have not listened to those, I interview him and then I play excerpts from the book as well. So you can really get a flavor for the book before going and buying it on Amazon.com. But please do consider going to Amazon.com and getting the book. It's really, again, it's a labor of love for me to, and an honor and a joy to have Alan sponsor and for me to be able to talk about the book and plug the book here at the James Arnold Taylor podcast each week here. So thank you, Alan Arnold, for writing a wonderful book. Until the next James Arnold Taylor podcast, I'll do more voices. It'll be more big and crazy and all of that, and I'll do more of that stuff. But for right now, I'm a little tired tonight, and my voice is a little Michael J. Foxy, kind of Mallory. And so I'm going to say thanks for listening to James Arnold Taylor podcast. Oh, Mr. Announcer Guy!
Yes, James?
Do your thing, man.
Talking to Myself, the James Arnold Taylor podcast is a production of Yumigo Inc., recorded at JAT Studios. Engineered, written, recorded, and produced by, you guessed it, James Arnold Taylor. All voices are parody and should be construed as entertainment only. All music and sound effects used with permissions and licenses through Backtracks, Digital Juice, Production Tracks, and Partners in Rhyme. James Arnold Taylor's Talking to Myself, the podcast, copyright 2019, all rights reserved.
Thanks, buddy.
You got it, James.
You gonna go now?
No, I'm gonna hang out to the end. It's almost over, right?
Yeah, it's almost over.
When's it over?
When I say.
When's that?
Well, how about now? No. Now. Right. No. Now. No. Now.
Right now.
No. Well, okay, sure. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.